Empire. In the NFL, the name of the game during quarantine is preparation. And so we're going to pick the brain of one of the guys who's on the inside, Stars trainer Chris Flores. That's sports training and rehabilitation services based in Anaheim, California, who works with a number of high-profile NFL stars like Juju Smith-Schuster, Robert Woods, Adoree Jackson, and more. And we're going to talk to him about what he's been doing to help these guys stay ready, how he even got started in this business, and how he's helped guys like Juju Smith-Schuster and Adoree Jackson go from young high school prospects to NFL standouts. Really, really great episode here of the Football Jones podcast. Thanks for coming along. What's up, everybody? Yes, it's Mike Jones. You can read me at usatoday.com. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at @ByMikeJones. And I told you right there, we're going to talk to Chris Flores. Like I said, trainer, co-founder of Stars, training facility out there in Anaheim. Really good dude. Met him at the Combine this past year in Indianapolis, and we hit it off. He was telling me about the work that he's been doing. The plan was to go out there and do a story this summer. Obviously, we have not been able to travel with the coronavirus, putting restrictions all over the place, but I wanted to do a podcast episode with him, talk to him about some of the work he's doing with his co-partner, Jason David, former NFL player, and just get a look at how they fine-tune these highly trained athletes and get the most out of them and help them achieve elite levels of performance. So here we are, getting into it with Coach Chris Flores. All right, now here we are with Chris Flores, one of the co-owners of Stars out there in California. He also goes by Coach Frog.
Yes, sir.
How you doing, man?
I'm great, Mike. I'm great, man. How about yourself?
Pretty good, hanging in here. I wanted to have you on because this is an unusual off season. You and I had talked. We ran into each other at the Combine. We're hoping to, hang out and do a story. COVID had other plans for us, but still felt like this would be a great get for the podcast. I like giving fans and listeners kind of behind the scenes look, and I know you can help us do that with all of your work. So if you could start us off, just kind of tell everybody who you are, what you do. Obviously, I've done a little bit of an intro for you that, you're a trainer, you work with a lot of NFL guys, but kind of just take us through a little brief overview of the work that you're doing out there.
Absolutely, man. First off, appreciate you guys having us and excited. I know the Combine was great to meet, so I'm excited. We're all on the call now. And 2020 has for sure been interesting, but we're all going to get through it together. My name is Chris Flores, Coach Frog. I'm a co-owner here at Stars, which is acronym for Sports Training and Rehabilitation Services. We're an all-inclusive facility, so full medical staff, full training staff, speed crew, position work. And really, I think the best way to describe who and what we are is we're really a company built on developing better people, better athletes, and hopefully putting a better product out there in whatever realm our athletes decide to pick, whether it's the professional world or playing professional sports. And really, a lot of our athletes have started with us from the junior high school or high school era and have stayed with us ever since, whether it's a Pro Bowler or whether it's an All-Pro or whether it's just, starting on a 53 or an undrafted free agent making a team. We've really been able to have a wide array of athletes make the NFL and be very successful. And our goal here is to support them and think outside the box, similar to what's happening now, actually, and really getting creative and staying ahead of the curve and giving them every advantage we possibly can when it comes to off-season training and getting them ready for their in-season play. Usually we have a pattern down and we have schedules and calendars, but 2020 has definitely put us through a loop.
Great. Exactly. And, if you guys follow him on social media, you'll see his videos and pictures. He's got little kids he's got doing drills. He's got guys like Juju Smith-Schuster doing drills. It's a whole spectrum of football, of athletes that he works with and does a lot of creative things with them. How did you get into this? When did you decide that this was the avenue you wanted to take to stay connected to the game?
Man, that's a great question, man. I'll be honest. I was like most guys and most athletes, trying to figure it out. And I thought I'm going to play forever and do this as long as I can. And you think at 17, you think 30 is old and you're going to do this forever and play and never end. I ended up playing in college at St. Mary's College in Moraga and got hurt. And it ended my career early. So when I moved back home, they allowed me to do school online. At that point, my wife, now girlfriend at the time, had just started school at the University of Southern California. My best friend was a GA with them, and I got a great opportunity to meet Coach Pete Carroll, and he really changed a lot for me. He introduced me to really how to evaluate film, how to study, how to work, how to prepare. And that really opened my eyes to a lot of possibilities. Being a kid from inner city Los Angeles, I knew there was a lot of athletes, a lot of good people that just needed the proper guidance that we didn't have in our era, in our generation. So what I did was really just started taking everything I was learning at USC and giving back and giving back and giving back. And three of those wide receivers that I started with, Robert Woods, Marquise Lee, and Paul Richardson, ended up being very good football players. And all three were drafted in the second round. All three are still currently playing professional football, and all three are still currently training with me. So because of that, it really opened up my eyes to how much we could do if we take a youth athlete, prepare him for high school, take a high school athlete, prepare him for college, and then ultimately preparing them for the pros. And that's where this journey started back in early 2005, 2006. And, now we're sitting here, we're about 60 plus NFL athletes, all positions, a bunch of NBA athletes and a bunch of MLB athletes. So it's really grown from where we started at the parks and high schools and trying to figure it out to a really well-rounded system to surround athletes both mentally, emotionally, physically, and obviously pushing them athletically. And I think we built something special that's unique and really there's no place like it, I feel like I haven't met many people that can say I've taken a kid from sixth grade to junior high school to college to the pros. That's definitely a rare thing. And we're going to keep pushing it. We're going to keep pushing the tempo the right way with the right kids and the right people. But fast forward, now we're here. We have our own junior high school. So we have a homeschool Victory Prep Academy that offers to 40 student athletes to pursue their academic and athletic careers. And we host NBA pre-draft, NFL pre-draft, and really anything an athlete needs to pursue whatever their next step is. It might be playing high school. It might be becoming a starter. It might be a Division I scholarship. It might be competing for a 53-man roster on the Rams. Whatever that looks like, we have a plan ready for those people to get ready to pursue their dreams.
Now, when you first started working with these kids, did you have any idea that these relationships were going to be as long-lasting as they have? Because some guys, they might work with the kid, boom, they go off to the next level, and, it's over. But yeah, these are not just little, 3-year stints, and then you're done with them and move on to somebody else.
Yeah. You know what? I knew with my first group of guys because we grew up in the same area. But honestly, if I would have sat here and told you they would have been professional athletes and we would have still been working and had a building, I'd probably be lying. Marquise has a tattoo of a basketball on his shoulder, and he had an amazing story of perseverance and making it. And at that time, the goal was really utilize sports to put them into a good environment. It was never the thought of creating all these or helping these young men and women become professional athletes. It was really just putting them in a safe environment with good people that could continue to push them. But man, it's been amazing. It's been a real blessing. I know Father's Day yesterday was emotional for me. Marquise and Paul, their first Father's Day this year. So, they're all growing up before my eyes, and seeing them from 13 years old to Super Bowl and all of that has been exciting.
Yeah, man, it's got to make you feel a little bit old.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah. But I always tell them, hey, I can still run a little bit, man.
Right.
you to take.
Now, what was it about the situation? You say you grew up in that area. What was it that spoke to you to let you know that, you know what, these kids need something, they need this type of environment? Yes, they can get training anywhere, but what was it that made you feel like, in a way, this is almost like a mission for you, a life calling rather than just athletics?
Yeah, that's a great question. I'll be honest, I still talk to my parents today and give them the relatability story. I think me growing up, I never met a professional athlete. I never met a collegiate athlete. I never stepped foot on a college campus. You know, it was something that you saw on TV, but what wasn't really real. It wasn't really attainable. It wasn't anything we could see, feel, and touch. It was something that felt so far from us that it was just what we talked about. So I think from there, once I met Coach Carroll and his mission and the way he really spoke passion and love into his players, and the way he was able to inspire people, really motivated me to take that same mindset and put it into all these kids and show them that, hey, it doesn't matter where you come from or what you have or what you don't have. What matters is that you have a opportunity to go fight and compete. And then from there, it's connecting the dot. It's letting them, walk on a college campus, meet a college coach, see a college player. And then now that dream, that reality, that thing that people told you can't attain, now is right in front of you. It's something that now you can actually touch, see, feel, and you can reach it. So for me, it was really, first, it was the test run. I call them all my test guys. But the test came out great. You talk about 3 guys that are still in the NFL today that both are very profitable outside of football, that both are family men, that are great husbands and great fathers. So now like I tell them, the road is paved, but that doesn't mean we can't make it better. So what does better mean is taking my 12-year-old and introducing him to Juju, letting him meet Adoree, meeting Stephon Diggs, meeting Marquise Lee, meeting Robert Woods, and hearing their story. They have made the road better, but that doesn't mean we can add some lights and stop signs, and we can't add some speed signs and some cops on the side to make sure that everything is rolling in the right path. So every year we try to improve that system. And now we even have some young men that we've coached that are collegiate and professional coaches. And they've continued to preach the message and share their story and come back and give, which is what we're all about. Gotcha.
What is the message beyond the athletic, fun philosophies and things like that? But what do you teach these kids?
Yeah, I teach them that life skills, anything that you need in life or in a job, be accountable, be a team player. All of those skills we can learn through sports. So really it's teaching life skills through these games that we love, we appreciate, we cheer for, and right now we're all missing. It really has every lesson you can work and learn to be a successful person. You have to be early to practice. If you're on time, you're late. If you're early, you're on time. You got to take notes. You got to work as a team. You got to take instruction. You got to give instruction. You got to become a leader. So all of those attributes make you a successful husband, make you a successful student, make you a successful employee, and hopefully you own your own business and operate and run it. But those skills are still needed. So to me, it's really teaching life lessons through these games that we all love is the biggest overall message.
Gotcha. When you first started working with some of these guys that are now in the NFL, did you see it then, or did you just say, oh, he's a good athlete and maybe he's got a chance, or was it even something that was on your radar? I'm curious, when Robert Woods or Adoree Jackson, do you look at him in high school? Because I remember there are plenty of guys I saw in high school that I'm like, oh, he is a stud. It just doesn't happen. Or you see a guy that's just kind of okay and he's a late bloomer, and then he bursts onto the scene and really exceeds expectation. So what were some of those guys like?
Yeah, I'll be honest. Like I was like, my goal was like, man, let's get these guys to a good private high school or a good high school, and then let's get them to college. They're gonna get to college for sure. And I used to remember drilling them like, hey, you're going to college. You're going to college. But yeah, there was definitely, Woody, when he first went to Sarah High School, there was talks about him in junior high school as this legend and this guy that was really just above his era and his time, mentally, athletically. But there's been some surprises. There's been some guys that I didn't expect that were like, he's pretty good. He's got the skill set, but we'll see. And then you have, Marquise Lee, probably one of the craziest athletes I've ever seen. We're at a track meet, and the score is pretty close in the track meet. And there's the long jump competition is the last one. And they're like, hey, Marquise, you think you could jump 19 feet? And oh yeah, 19 from here, never long jump, never did it. Runs out, jumps 21. And I'm just sitting here like, are you kidding me, man? Like, you've never done this? And he jumped from way behind the tape because they told him you can't scratch. You get one jump. And so you see it. There is definitely those guys that just pop, you know, the Bryce Youngs, the DJ Uyunglele's of this time. But there's the guys that I've been very happy to see make it and be successful that didn't have the 5 stars and have all the media and have everybody follow them. So we've had an array of all of it. So it's been exciting, man. It really has. I'm like a kid in a candy store. I just get to enjoy the show and watch them work.
Now, I remember Juju telling me a story when I did a story on Adoree Jackson that he was saying, you know, they were running a relay race and Juju had a lead and he thought he was coasting and Adoree just comes out of nowhere and passes him. You know, and they became, you know, friends from that experience, wind up being teammates and everything. What were those two like when you first started working with them?
Oh man, those two dudes are like, they're like grumpier old men. They love each other. They talk smack. They compete. You know, I can imagine them sitting at a coffee shop somewhere still talking about they can run and jump 30, 40 years from now. But it's been great to watch them grow and develop. I think what happens when you get like-minded people together, great things happen. And Ju and Adoree are just such fierce competitors that they respected each other's passion for whatever they did. They could be tying their shoes and they're going to find a way to compete. So it's been great to watch their progression grow from, you know, high school recruits to college teammates to college All-Americans to competing. You know, I got to watch them play on Thursday Night Football in Pittsburgh. And it was just a joy, man. We had breakfast the day before and hung out. And it's still, you know, we're together. It's funny because I see them as Adoree and Ju, and we just talk smack and have a good time. And we're walking out this restaurant and everybody stops talking. And I'm like, oh, did we do something? I'm like, oh, wait, we're with you two. Yeah. But it's been great to watch.
Yeah. How do you take, okay, both of those guys, world-class athletes.
Yes.
What do you focus on to make them better? What did you notice about their bodies, their reflexes, that you could fix or fine tune, we should say maybe, and get them ready for the next level?
That's a great question. I think to me, it's always been about the smaller movements. Adoree and Juju are great athletes. Robert Woods, Tyler Boyd, great athletes. So I think what happens is not overdoing it. What we do is we work on the little things. We're big on the little things, creating bigger moments. And it's really foot placement. Where are your eyes? Where are your feet? And my partner's the same way, Jason David. What we do is really focus on the small movements that are going to help them be that amazing athlete that they already are. So with Juju, for example, we work on the top of the route, separation. Where's your foot? Isolating the foot placement. Opposite hand, opposite foot. His lean. How far is he? So we really break it down to the very minute spots of how to run this route, play this position. And what happens is, I use the example. I started off, actually, a lot of people didn't know, as a girls basketball coach for junior high. My uncle, I got hurt. My uncle convinced me to coach girls basketball. My little cousins were on the team, and it was the best thing I've ever done. What happened was they were so fundamentally sound that it blew my mind. Where, you know, Juju and Adoree could probably dunk from the free throw line. You know, they had to pull up from the free throw line, jump hop to a layup. And I took that same philosophy and put it into these amazing athletes. And now you put fundamental and skill set with athleticism, and now you created a weapon. And that's really the message that we preach here. It's, you know, being proactive rather than reactive. It's working on the little things. It's pushing the little movements, working the little muscles. And then once you put it all together, the bigger muscles, the bigger movements, the big plays are all going to become normal.
Gotcha. How did you refine or develop that eye? Because I can see a guy run past me. I'm like, oh, he's fast. You can see a guy run past you, and you can see, oh, he needs to do X, Y, Z. How did you learn that?
Man, I'll be honest. Like, when I first started and was in there with Pete at USC, I got to watch some of the greatest recruiters work. You know, on that staff, you had Ed Orgeron, just won a national championship with LSU. Steve Sarkisian, offensive coordinator, University of Alabama. Chris Richard, who was the defensive coordinator for the Dallas Cowboys. You know, Dave Canales, you know, quarterback coach for the Seattle Seahawks. Lane Kiffin, you know, it goes on. Norm Chow, Ken Norton Jr. So I got to sit in these meetings and watch them and hear them and them teach me how to really break down an athlete, what you're looking for, certain movements. And it's funny because they all look for the same qualities, but they all look for it in their own unique way. And from there, I was really able to sit and learn and really take a little bit from everybody. And now it's funny, I'll be walking around, I'm like, man, that dude has long arms. His knees are skinny. Like, man, I bet you he's a good athlete. Like, he can move around. So it's really got it to that point where, you know, I could see somebody and really see and put an assessment based on how they walk, how they move, how they bend. And it's really been a passion of mine. And it's been fun. You know, when you love what you do, you don't work a day. So being able to assess athletes and evaluate athletes has been a strength of mine, which has helped recruiting. You know, we've had multiple All-Americans and junior high school athletes offered Division I scholarships. I think a part of it is the respect that the higher level coaches, collegiate and professional, have for Stars and what we've been able to do, because we are accurate and we look for the right things that they're looking for. We don't care what they're ranked or where they're at. We look for the intangibles, and that's the hard part to find.
Now, are most of your clients based on referral? Is it word of mouth? Do you start looking, you know, do you go into middle school football games and scouting out talent? How does that work?
That's a great question, man. Yeah. You know, I'll be honest, we're so passionate about what we do. We just fixed our website. Like, our website is finally up and running, and we've been doing this since the early 2000s. Facility opened 2014. So a lot of word of mouth, I think the community, I think the football world has really grown a respect for what we've been able to do, from having the first traveling 7-on-7 team in 2007 to today. You know, and because of that, it's really grown. And I think the product speaks for itself. You know, you see how many professional athletes we have. And not only that we have them, they come back. To me, retention's important. You know, they continue to come back no matter where they are in their career. Juju was a defensive player recruit when he was coming out. He could have played either, but he was an amazing safety. I still think he could play safety today in the NFL. And, you know, he gets to SC and they give us the call and they're like, hey, we're moving him to receiver. We immediately got to work and started crafting and getting them ready. Comes out and has two of the best seasons ever and finishes off his junior year. So it's really the ability to just attack the moment that we're in and prepare our athletes mentally and physically. And then they've been able to spread the word. And now social media helps with their platform. And, you know, they believe in us as people, and then they believe in us as coaches. So it really has helped. But now it's growing. Now we got emails. Now we got the website. Now we're all, Mike, don't worry, we coming.
Now with Juju, he's a defensive back. You have to turn him into a wide receiver. Were you showing him film? What were some of the tools? That's pretty fascinating, that you can turn this guy, swip him to the other side of the ball, and we see the success he's having now. But in those early days, how did you teach him the receiver position?
Yeah, we broke it down. A lot of film. And a lot of watching. So luckily, again, we call it our family versus your facility. So during his off season, his time off, he was training with the pros. So he was with Marquise, he was with Paul Richardson. You know, he's watching them. So now not only are we working the movements on our own, he's also watching the movements be done. So a lot of people learn a lot of different ways. And our group, our family has really become selfless. So because of that, these guys are willing to teach the next guy up because they know the help that they have gotten. But I'll be honest, you know, I'd be lying if I said it was all what we did. Juju's mindset is like no other. He just, you know, I would tell him, hey, I got something to do at 10 so we can work out in the morning. Cool, I'll be up at 6 a.m. And he'd be up at 6 a.m., ready to go, ready to work. He'd go through his practice, his schedule, everything he had to do, call me back. We'd meet up again. So we were really running 2-3 a days for an entire year and a half, 2 years straight. And he didn't stop, didn't budge. You know, I still have probably 100 videos of Juju just sleeping in the car from us going from one workout to the next workout. And he's just so tired. He gets in the car and falls asleep. But it's really the grabbing from everywhere. The small movements, the one-on-one time, the extra work, the film, and then obviously having a lineage of family that is playing in the NFL that you can reach out to, talk to, and ask questions.
Gotcha. Now, I know that you use a lot of technology, you know, as far as taking care of the body. You guys get the hyperbaric chambers, and all kinds of things like that. Talk to me about some of those tools that you use to teach these guys how to get their bodies to recover while they're also getting stronger and faster.
Yeah, that's big. You know, we're big on being proactive, not reactive, so preventing injuries. So, you know, whether it's a basic foam roll, whether it's seeing our chiro and the PT and the ATC, if anything's bugging or bothering. And it's even to the way we live. You know, it's really the way we work out. It's all scientific based. Damien Holly, our performance coach, is really unbelievable and does a great job of developing the plans to get these guys bigger, faster, stronger. And then our support team. You know, Elevate Health is a big partner of ours with the hyperbaric chamber, red light recovery. You know, the advances we've made in the medical and recovery world is really special. And athletes, I'm glad, are speaking up about it. In the past, where if you're in the training room, it was a bad thing. Today, it's a great thing. And I'm glad that they're changing that image. And what we're doing is teaching them younger and younger and younger how to take care of their body. You know, hyperbaric chamber, turn your phone off, go to sleep, you know, eat properly. Meal prep, you know, it's really everything that comes into what your body is. You don't put unleaded in a Ferrari, you know, you put the best available. So like I tell them, man, your body's a Ferrari. It's who you are. So you can't run a Ferrari into the ground by putting all this bad stuff into it. You got to put the best of the best and let it operate and run. And our medical staff is great. You know, like I said, Damien, Mike, our PT, Chanel Keenan, one of our office managers, she runs the show, and they just, every athlete gets an assessment, they get evaluated, they look at their movement, they do an FMS test, and from there, their plan is built out. And I'm talking about our youth athletes as well. So everybody is starting to understand the importance of recovery prior to training, and now you combine both those worlds, and it becomes a very special place.
Who are some of your young guys right now that who's your next, you know, Adoree or Robert or Marquise? Like, who are you now that you're like, you know what, in a few years, you guys are going to be talking about him?
Yes, indeed, man. I love it. So I actually spent Father's Day weekend here at the facility. You know, I'm going to keep working. You know how we do it, Mike. We going to keep going. And I had Stephon Diggs and Juju Smith-Schuster during the weekend. And JD had Trayvon Diggs, Stephon's brother. But we had our young athletes on here. We had Peyton, who's one of our 8th grade athletes going to St. John Bosco High School. Kid's a 2-sport athlete, 6'1", I'm going to say 190 in 8th grade. Looks like a grown man, could really play either one. Bosco's predominantly top 3 in the country, if not top 2. And he's going to play varsity as a freshman. That's my firm belief. And he's going to play baseball as well. He's an extremely good athlete. Then we have a kid, Bo Collins, who's considered the #1 wide receiver in the country, committed to Clemson. And he got to train with both of them. So this is, again, that progression of athleticism and taking down and each one give one. Bo got to train with Juju and Stephon this weekend. Bo's 6'3", you know, 210 pounds, 205 pounds in high school. Wow. And not only that, Mike, he's moving. Like, I'm just like, whoa, like, hold on, where'd that come from? So extremely excited about what he's going to do. Under him, we have CJ Williams, a wide receiver at Mater Dei, who's very, very special, very similar to Juju, physical, strong, tough, high football IQ. But it's exciting. You know, our quarterbacks, Malachi Nelson is a 9th grader, considered the #1 freshman in the country. Very, very special talent, mentally, athletically, and arm-wise. So we're excited about the whole lineage. Our junior high group is probably unbelievable right now. I'm going to say, you know, from top to bottom, junior high, we have the best quarterback group in the country. You know, so it's going to be special. Julian Lewis from Atlanta has come out here and worked with us. Oscar Rios, 7th grader, who's going to be very special. Wyatt Becker, you know, Reagan Toki, you know, my son's in that group, Chris Flores Jr. They're going to be, that group is special, man. And the great part, again, if you go back to the beginning, I never saw a college athlete. I never saw a pro athlete. These guys work with Bryce and DJ and Juju and Bo, and it's normal. So now that nervousness that, oh, man, this is a big-time guy, it's gone. So to watch these high school and junior high kids walk out on the field with this, not cockiness, it's a confidence. Right. And then it's a respectful confidence. I love it. I'm excited. The future is bright. And I tell them the future is now. You know, your moment is now. Don't wait. Your moment is now. So we're going to have some guys you're going to hear about. We're going to do a lot of these in the future. All right.
Yeah. Good. Now, you know, normally your NFL guys would be away for a while, then they'd come back right around now because OTAs would be over. What has that been like trying to get these guys ready during, you know, the coronavirus restrictions? How have you kept them sharp, not knowing when they're going to go back to work?
Yeah, man, it's been tough. 2020 has definitely been tough with everything going on. We're just praying and hoping we can be here as a support system and as a positive with so much negative going on. But yeah, we've always been able to think outside the box and push the issue. We started professional 7-on-7 4 years ago. And the reason we did it was because the amount of fast tissue injuries we were experiencing or we were watching in camps. So what we said is, well, cones are great. Working by yourself is great, but the reactional muscles are the ones that are popping, pulling, tearing. So how do we prevent that? So we literally partnered with a helmet company. They sent us, 60 helmets. We got these pro guys in helmet and we went pro versus pro. So when they walked back into camp, those reactional muscles were ready. Well, this time around with COVID was even harder than that because we had no groups. You couldn't really be out. You had to be covered up. So we really limited to Zoom. We made a lot of Zoom calls, a lot of film study. And then we dropped our group sizes to almost minimal and only pros to really try to continue to do the small work that we could, and really sending them workouts home, trying to show them how to stretch, doing everything through phones. It's definitely been an experience. It's definitely been an experience, but I think, it's allowed us to see how great our team is and our athletes have appreciated it. But film, I think, has been the biggest impact from watching film to watching themselves. So if we get 10 reps in that week, we're going to watch all 10 reps. So now we turn those 10 reps into, call it 40, because we watched it 3 times. So now those 30 turn into 40 to 50. So we're getting those mental reps, and then you keep the body ready and going in between. Luckily now we're reopened and we're operating. But this has been one of the trickiest years up to date that I can remember. But we've been getting through it and we've been figuring it out, and we'll continue to get these guys ready. Still don't know what's going to happen or how.
Right.
So we're still staying creative and staying above the curve.
Yeah, I think that this year you're really going to see the guys' preparation, versus guys whose preparation was just so. The proof will be in the pudding here.
100%, man. You got that 100% right. Yeah. Luckily, we've been able to throw some 7-on-7, some 1-on-1s. We've been able to compete, but you're right. I'm worried for the guys that haven't been able to work because injuries are going to be very, very under a microscope this year because of the amount of work they were not able to get.
Yeah. And depth is going to be important too, because
Yep.
We don't know when this stuff's going to pop up. If you have to pull somebody up from the practice squad and all that stuff.
There you go.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy, man.
Yeah.
Well, I know that you're super busy. I feel like we could do like a 4-part series
all day,
a weekly series or something like that. But I really appreciate your time. Tell everybody where they can find you.
Yep, absolutely. So on Instagram, under Coach Frog, our company is Stars, STARS_SoCal, and then it's starsocal.com. Any questions or anything, feel free to reach out. I'm a big Gary Vee fan, so I reply to all my DMs or as much as I can. So if you can or you guys have questions or anything I can ever help with, we're all here to help. Our family versus your facility. Mike, man, I appreciate everything you do, everything you're doing, and I can't wait to be able to give you a hug and see you in person, man.
Yes, sir, man. Hopefully very soon. I'll be able to finally get back out there to Cali, and we'll catch up. I appreciate it.
Appreciate you, my brother. Have a good day. Everybody out there, appreciate you guys for listening, and we'll get through this together. Everybody keep pushing.
All right, Chris. I really appreciate it, man.
All right, now have a good one.
Thanks. All right, there you go. I don't know about you, but I really felt like I said, I felt like we could have kept going on and on. It was jam-packed, a lot of information, but so much more that we could have tackled. I feel like we're going to have to come back and revisit with Chris Flores later in the season. Hopefully once the NFL season's going on, maybe after some of these guys have some great performances, he can give us some insight on the work that they did during the offseason that led to some of those and the growth. And I don't know about you, I'm also going to be following the prep scene for some of those young guys that he named. It'll be interesting to see them elevate and rise through the high school and then college ranks, and maybe one day we'll see them in the NFL ranks. But anyway, hope you guys are doing well. Hope you are safe. Hope you are healthy. We will continue to monitor how everything is unfolding. As of right now, the NFL training camps will still be kicking off on time in late July. We don't know yet what any of that's going to look like. As JC Treader said last week in last week's episode, it's too early to speculate. Basically, we're operating 2 weeks at a time. Things could change. There's going to be very strict testing, protocol set up. It's going to be interesting to see how they can maintain the controlled environment when these guys have families that they go home to. Training camp might be okay, but then after that, it's going to be a challenge. And we're going to see what's going to happen when, we've seen college athletes at a number of schools being quarantined because of positive tests or contact with someone who had the coronavirus, and how they're handling it. The NFL is continuing to plan, so they'll be ready. But it's going to be interesting to see how it unfolds. We've still got about a month and a half away until that happens. So until then, we'll continue to try to keep you updated and give you a look behind the scenes on what guys are doing to stay prepared for once they get that green light to get back to work. Hope you guys have a great day. Again, you can read me at usatoday.com. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at @ByMikeJones. Take this link, please. Leave me a rating. Send the link to a friend. Share it on social media. And I will talk to you guys again next week.